G'day everyone and welcome back to the PokeStraya YouTube channel. And before we get into today's game, there's just something I quickly need to touch on. We are now in top 8. Unfortunately, we lost the footage for rounds 5 and 6. I'm not too sure what's happened. I've tried all week trying to recover the footage because they were two pretty decent games and I wanted to get those out for you, but I just don't have any other option. I've run out of things to try and do, so we're just going to have to skip those games, unfortunately. Apologies to the players who played for us on camera, and to anyone who wanted to watch those games. There was a Toadbats Mirror and Toadbats vs Greninja in round 6. So we are just moving on to top 8 of the Adelaide Regional Championships. I hope you guys enjoy this. Is a Night March Mirror between Nick Hensing and Blake Wightman. Here we go. Alrighty, and we're just about to get things underway. Got Nick Hensing on the right and Blake Wightman on the left. Both players are playing in Night March. I can't imagine their list being too different. I think Blake was just saying that he's going to go first or second. Probably first with the Night March Mirror. And it does look like if he's going first, he's got a pretty good start because he's got that Battle Compressor and a VS Seeker, meaning he can get that turn 1 Hex Maniac out, which is really what you want if you're going first in the Night March Mirror. Just to kind of slow them down, prevent them from using their Shamans to get their quick knockout on the first prize of the game. So Nick is going to mulligan once. He gets a basic there. So Blake will take one extra card from the mulligan, and it looks like a Shaman start versus a Joltik start. And if Nick was going first, this probably would have been pretty bad for him, because Joltik would be easily able to knock out that Shaman. However, he is going to be able to Sky Return for the knockout on that Joltik if Blake can't find himself a Fighting Fury Belt. So Blake needs to get a bench Pokemon here. Otherwise, he could be looking at some trouble with that Shaman just Sky Return in that Joltik. I'm not too sure what's in his hand. I know he's got a VS Seeker, so he might be forced to take the Sycamore if he's got no other options. There's a Hex Maniac. And I think he had like 2 Lampents in hand as well, which is something you really don't want in your opening hand when you're playing Night March. He's discarding that Sycamore. If he has to play that Sycamore this turn, that could be really bad for him. You really want to be able to use Hex Maniac here. He's going to discard the Dimension Valley as well. Both players probably play 2-3 copies of that. So it's not crucial to have that in deck. I think he's got like 3 Night Marches in hand, so he's just going to leave that at that for now. Obviously in the Night March Mirror Match, you don't really need to discard a ton of Night March Pokemon, because max you're going to hit for is 110 on a Shaman. And it looks like Blake is taking that Sycamore here. So yeah, it's not crucial to have so many Night March Pokemon in the discard pile. I think you only need like 4 or 5 in my opinion. Probably 5 because a Pumpkaboo with a Fighting Fury Belt can survive it, a Night March attack, if you've got less than 5. We're going to see Blake do another double Battle Compressor, so he's hit all 4 Battle Compressors in his first turn, which is one of the reasons why Night March is so good, being able to do things like this. He's going to drop the Xerosic. I think he's got 1 Pumpkaboo there, and I think he's got another Pumpkaboo, a Joltik, 2 Joltiks. So he might drop the second Joltik, but I don't think it's necessary for him to do it. He's probably just going to get rid of some supporters here, as we see the Xerosic, the Lysander, and he'll probably just leave it at that for now. He's keeping 3 Night March attackers in deck. I think he's got another one in hand, so that was probably the right move there. Just keep you want to have enough Night Marches to be able to trade prizes with. And Blake does have the other Joltik, so that's good for him. He's going to play that Dimension Valley and just pass. And he also got the Fighting Fury Belt, so he's not going to be Sky Returned for the knockout. I'd imagine Nick probably will try and Sky Return still, just to get that Shaman off the board. It's a card that you really don't want to be leaving out in play, but it does look like Nick is going to be Ultra Bowling for another Shaman, so his hand mustn't be too good here. Because no matter what now, unless he AZs the other Shaman, he's going to have a Shaman on board. If Blake's able to, he can Lysander it for the knockout and take 2 prizes. Nick's just going to check the discard here. And we'll probably just see that Shaman set up for 3. I know we're going to see the target whistle on a Pumpkaboo, and then the Shaman set up. They're going to see a Trainer's Mail. I don't think that was really necessary. I think maybe Nick just did it to lower his hand size so he can play that Shaman. We're going to see the Startling Megaphone, which is a big card here. If he's dropping that Fighting Fury Belt, he can now Sky Return that Joltik for a knockout. If he has another bench Pokemon, You'd want to have another bench Pokemon here, otherwise that Joltik will just knock out the other Shaman. So he's probably going to Ultra Ball here. Maybe he's going to take another Shaman. So this is 3 Shamans coming down onto the board. So Nick's opening hand mustn't have been too great for him. Especially when you're playing Night March and you've got only 3 Shamans on the board. That's never helpful. You'll see a Puzzle of Time here. Just going to leave it how it is and then Shaman for 3 or 4? 5. Okay. You see the town map there. And Nick has prized 2 double colorless energies. That's never good. But he does have that DC on the Shaman. Floatstone's the other Shaman. And he hasn't supported yet, I believe. So he might be able to use a Sycamore if he's got one. We're going to see the Battle Compressor. Probably just drop the Lampents. Maybe the Supporter. And he's just gone 3 Lampents. So you'd have to imagine the next 2 prizes that Nick has taken would be those DCs. If you only play 4 in the deck and 2 of them are prized, you've only got half your energies in deck. So it's never great when that's the case. Nick would like to get another bench Pokemon, but no, he's just going to Hex Maniac and Sky Return. So Blake just going to throw up that Pumpkaboo. I believe he's got enough 9 Marches in the discard to get the knockout, and he just top decked the DCE. So he's sitting in a really good position here, and I didn't even see what prize Nick took. I can't remember what was there. But I do know he didn't take the DCEs, so he's got one in hand, so it's not too crucial. Going to see the Sycamore from Blake here. So it just seems like everything's going right for Blake. He's already up a game as well. He's got that DCE on the Pumpkaboo. He'll be 9 marching for the knockout here, and if Nick can't draw into anything, then it's just going to be 3 quick Shaman knockouts. You're going to see the Trainer's Mail for the Puzzle of Time. I think he's got another one in hand. He might be able to use that this turn if he wants to. He's also got a VS Seeker, so he might leave it and get the Target Whistle next turn, and then VS Seeker for the Lysander on a Shaman, or even Puzzle of Time for the Lysander. Either way, he could potentially knock out another Shaman next turn if Nick does draw out of it and doesn't throw up a Shaman next turn. So that could be a play he could bank, or he could just double Puzzle of Time now and take back any 2 cards he really wants. I don't think there's anything he necessarily needs at the moment though, so I think he'll just 9 March there, taking 2 prizes. I don't think that was the right play. Keeping those puzzles in hand, if Nick draws into something and say he puts up a Pumpkaboo next turn instead of the Shaman, we are going to see the Ultra Ball here, discarding Shaman, and I can't see that other card. He's going to take the Pumpkaboo, so maybe this was the right play from Blake, keeping those puzzles at times in hand. This means if that Shaman does go from the board, he's going to be able to double Puzzle of Time for the Target Whistle and the Lysander and bring up one of those Shamans, because it does look like at the moment it's going to be using Sky Return. Going to see the Enhanced Hammer from Nick. That I don't think that matters too much here because of the double Puzzle of Time, so you should be able to get back that double color. So it looks like he's also got the Lysander in hand, so you're just going to see another Sky Return here. So I think Blake's play may just be double Puzzle, Target Whistle, and the DCE. And he hasn't played any Puzzle of Times yet, so he does have another 2 in deck, which he'll be able to use later on if he's able to get both of them in his hand once again. And he'll be able to do the same thing, but it looks like he's just going to play it a bit differently. Going to take the double colors and the Fighting Fury Belt. Maybe just trying to play a more careful game here, which is fair enough. Those Fighting Fury Belts are huge in this matchup. They prevent Joltix from being Sky Returned for the knockout. So you're going to see the Fighting Fury Belt going down onto that Joltik, a double colors and a VS Seeker for the Hex Maniac, which was a good play as well, just because we know Nick has that Shaman in hand. So now he's not able to use that, and we're just going to see the 9 March knockout, taking 1 prize, and it's a double colors. So if this Pumpkaboo does go this turn, he's going to have an out to being able to 9 March once again, drawing into that DC. You're going to see the VSC for the Sycamore, and Nick is just trying to draw another basic here. And we do see an Ultra Ball. I think he also drew into a Pumpkaboo, so it's not too bad for him now. Blake is definitely in a better position here. Fighting Fury Belt on that Joltik, meaning it can't be Sky Returned for the knockout. I don't think that matters too much. I don't think Blake would have done that either way. Well, he could have possibly if he wanted to, but he would need also a float stone to retreat that Joltik or an AZ to pick it up. So we're just going to see a battle compressor from Nick, discarding 2 Joltiks, just adding to his Night Marches in the discard. I think he's got 5 or 6 in there now. We're going to see a Trainer's Mail. And I'm not too sure what he really wants at this point. Maybe just another Fighting Fury Belt? I don't know. And is that a Maxis? Oh. That is a Maxis Hidden Ball Trick. So it does look like Nick is playing a Maxis Gallade in his build. Probably to counter the Jolteon. I didn't know that just until now. So we're going to see the knockout from that Joltik. He's going to take the DC as the prize. And Blake's just drawn another double colorless energy. He could probably play this slow here. He's really in no rush to get anything going. I'm going to see the Acro Bike. I think that's a Fighting Fury Belt and a Trainer's Mail. He's going to drop the Fighting Fury Belt, take the Trainer's Mail. And it doesn't look like he got some good cards there. He's going to take the Float Stone. I assume he's looking for another double or puzzle of time, so he can next turn win the game. That'll probably be his play. He's got that... I think he's got a Vsing in hand for a Sycamore. He's got the Sycamore in hand either way. You're going to see another Acro Bike from him. And he's going to take that puzzle of time, I think. Or is he not? He's got the cards to Shaman next turn. So I think, yeah, taking the puzzle of time and just kind of Night March here. And hope he can draw into that other puzzle of time. We know there's 4 in deck. He knows there's 4 in deck when he went through his earlier search in the game. I counted 4. Hopefully I counted that correctly. I'm going to see the double colors on that Pumpkaboo. Nick still desperately needs to get another basic Pokemon down. He's going to Ultra Ball. Probably just take another Night Marcher here. He is definitely not looking good. All Blake needs is that Trainer's Mail to hit a puzzle of time. And if not, he can Shaman. He's got Ultra Ball in hand as well, so he can lower his hand size to just that puzzle of time. To then Shaman for 5 and hope to draw into that other puzzle of time. We'll see how it goes next turn. If he gets it, he's got the Target Whistle under the Lysander. He's got the Lysander in hand, but he's also got one in the discard, I think. I think he plays 2 in his list. I'm not positive on that, but I believe he does. Alright, so this is a turn. Can Blake pull it off? Probably see the DC go down for step 1. I think he's got the Float Stone on that Pumpkaboo. So, I don't know, he's going to train as well. Just see if he can get it now. And there's the puzzle of time. Yep, Blake has got the game this turn. He discarded the Target Whistle in his first turn. I think he Sycamored it away. So we're going to see a double puzzle here. And then the DCE and the Lysander. DCE on the Joltik. And I think Blake's just going to make sure there's a Shaman in there. There's Cannon, the DC is in the discard. There's definitely Shamans in there. I think there's like 3 Shamans in there now. So we are going to see a double puzzle time. I'm assuming Target Whistle here. If he knows it's in there, he's looking at taking the DC. It doesn't matter, yeah. Target Whistle and just anything here. It doesn't matter. Fighting Fury Belt. Fighting Fury Belt onto that Joltik. Target Whistle the Shaman. Lysander the Shaman for game. There you have it. Blake takes the game over Nick in the Night March Mirror. Unfortunately for Nick, he did get the the game 1 loss, which is unfortunate in any circumstance. But there you have it. Top 8. We'll see you for the next round.